Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today is a very special day. It is the day that you guys finally get to meet Chad in person. Chad is my Monstera Deliciosa. He is my very first houseplant that I received for this house, and my love for him made me jump into houseplants. If you are an OG to the channel, you know how much I love Simon. Simon is my lemon tree that I've grown from seed. And I've got to be honest, I am in a kind of three-way relationship with these two plants, man. Simon is like that guy that's super sensible, super sensitive. And then you've got Chad, and Chad is... Basically, I recorded this video around about 3 or 4 months ago, but I never managed to edit it and put it out, simply because sometimes you houseplant people, you can be really mean. So I was always kind of anxious about sharing my houseplants. Now I don't care, and so now I'm happily going to share my houseplants with you. But what I thought was really interesting is I went back to go and look at that footage, and he's changed so much. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off showing you the footage from a few months ago, so you can see my care routines. They actually haven't changed at all, it's still exactly the same, but also then have like a comparison so that you could see where he was a few months ago to where he is now. Anyway, let's get straight into it. Alright everybody, meet Chad. Isn't he stunning? Now, I originally got him in October in 2020 for my birthday. Some of his leaves are absolutely huge, they're way bigger than my hands. He's extremely well trained and climbs only up the moss pole. He is constantly producing new leaves. In fact, as soon as one leaf is unfurled, I can already see the next one. Well, no life cycle in this video, but I'm going to tell you a little bit about monsteras. They're native to the tropical forests of Mexico all the way to Panama. They use their aerial roots to climb up trees. That's actually really important to remember. Like, if you're like me and you watch houseplant videos all the time, you always watch the YouTubers talk about this bright indirect sunlight. It's so boring. But actually, you need to remember that because the Monstera will use its aerial roots to climb up a tree trunk. And so if you think about a Monstera that is in its natural habitat, trees have got these massive leaves and a massive canopy. Therefore, the Monstera won't actually be getting direct sunlight, it'll be getting dappled sunlight at best. Hence the idea of it receiving bright but indirect sunlight. I hope that makes sense. They're part of the aroid family, and they can even produce fruits. In the UK, we can take our Monsteras outside for summer, but they cannot tolerate frost at all, so we need to bring them inside for winter. Care tips are going to vary from region to region, and what works for me might not necessarily work for you. However, with a little bit of training, you actually can have your Monsteras in direct sunlight, but that's another video. He is so awesome. Let me show you some of the care tips that I picked up and that I follow with Chad. Now, we've already discussed light when it comes to Monsteras. Chad's home is my dining table, and he gets both morning light and he also gets afternoon light. The key to him looking so full is every few days I will turn him slightly in his pot. You have to remember that leaves are essentially solar panels, so you need to take some time each week just to wipe down some of these leaves. Here I'm just using a microfiber cloth and some lukewarm water, and I wipe down each and every single one of his leaves. Monsteras prefer their humidity to be 60 to 80%, But girl, I've got no idea what on earth that means, so I just spray my blasted plant every single day. Oh come on, like we all don't just laugh about these stupid tips on these videos. Anyways, when I do mist, I make sure that not only do I get the leaves, but I also make sure to mist the moss pole. The moss pole being moist is what encourages some of the aerial roots to latch onto the moss pole. As I said, I try to do this on a daily basis. I don't really know if that's the right thing to do, but as you can see, he's doing well, so he must like it. Don't be so quick to repot your Monstera. They actually don't mind being in small pots. I mean, look at this root system, and he's pretty healthy. Now keep this in mind because I'm going to show you what his root system looks like today. Watering your Monstera. I don't know who needs to hear this, but let me tell you something. Just because you have your schedule where you like to water your plants every Friday does not mean that that is what your plants want. With your Monstera, you need to wait until that soil has dried out completely, and then that's when you go back in and water. Now, as you can see, I've got a container underneath. I pour the water all the way through and let the water collect in the container. I leave it to soak for a good 5, 10, 15 minutes, and then I take it out because I don't want to encourage root rot. During the summer, when he gets more light, he actually absorbs water a lot quicker. So rather than it being every 14 days, over summer it's kind of been every 9 to 10 days. Okay, he's a little bit bougie because he only has my fish tank water. Here's a closer look at the aerial roots, so you can see what I mean about them latching onto the moss pole. When the new leaves emerge, they come out really bright green, and over time they'll darken. A few days later, you can see that the leaves have changed colour. As Chad is maturing, he's now beginning to produce more fenestrations. Now that you've seen that, I think it's probably time that you come and meet him and see what he looks like right now. So let me take you over. He is an absolute beast. Guys, I'm just so in love with this plant, man. Just, oh, look at him. Yes, look at him in the light. Ah! Come on, boy. As you can see, he is absolutely massive. Right, let me show you how he's changed since I recorded that last video. One of the biggest changes that I found is his new love for growing aerial roots. And I know I showed you his root ball underneath. That was around about 4 months ago. What I've begun to notice is his leaves at the top are starting to get smaller, and he's producing a hell of a lot more aerial roots. So 1 or 2 weeks ago I thought, oh, let me just have a look at his roots. And guys, it's insane. Let me try and figure out a way to show you just how much his root ball has grown. Jeez, come on, Jack. For a start, just look at how tiny his pot is. It's absolutely tiny. But Monsteras actually really like to be in smaller pots. Let me just see if I can pull him out. Oh, come on, Chad. Oh. And they're getting quite thick as well. Just. Sorry. So I think the very next video that you see Chad in is going to be a repotting. I am scared as hell. I mean, I just don't want to damage him or anything like that, but I think it is time that he has a repotting. But one thing I will say is, yes, okay, his leaves were small, but they have since grown quite big, some of these new leaves. But the problem is I don't think that he is getting enough light still, because as you can see, these newer leaves, only half of it is fenestrated. What I found with Chad is, however the new growths appear when they first emerge is not exactly how they will be in a few weeks' time. So I just leave him to do his own thing. Now there's a TikTok trend where you put the aerial roots in water. So as these guys are getting quite long now, I'm going to do that. Other people cut off the aerial roots, but that's just not a thing for me. About 2 or 3 weeks ago, I added on a moss pole on top of the one that he has got, and already he's climbed up that. So the thing to remember with monsteras is they are vines. When you look at a plant like Chad, he actually is not just one vine. There are multiple vines in that pot which make up Chad. But funnily enough, they all seem to be growing at the same rate. So they all produce their next leaf all at the same time. So right now, I think there are 4 vines in there that make Chad up. And right now, you can probably see the lighter colored leaves are all brand new leaves. So I've got 4 new leaves there. I also don't have to tie him up very much either. He seems to just climb up that pole himself. I really wanted to make a propagation on Chad just so that I could have the experience of growing a monstera that isn't as well trained as him. So I ended up buying Becky, and as soon as I named Becky I fell in love with her, and then I couldn't propagate from her either. So now I'm stuck with 2 monsteras that I just cannot propagate. What a mess. Guys, meet Becky. She's pretty basic, but I absolutely love her. She's got quite a few yellow leaves at the bottom there. That is completely normal. As her newer leaves get bigger and bigger, she'll start to drop those old leaves. Becky is pretty awesome. She is quite small. She hasn't had any fenestrations just yet. I would say probably her next 1 or 2 new leaves will probably start to see the fenestrations happening. She's in a really tiny pot, but actually, let me just check her roots. Oh wow. Wow, okay. I wasn't expecting that actually. What a crap plant, Dad. I didn't even know. Right, okay, well, yeah, Becky needs a repotting as well. Wow. Chad is not the only monstera in my collection. You've met Becky. They also have some siblings. So I have some Addisonii and I have some variegated monsteras too. I have albos and I have Thai constellations. So if you want to see any more of this kind of plant content, make sure that you have subscribed to the channel. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.